As you know, the Caux Round Table is a nonpartisan organization, both here in the United States, where we have our headquarters, and in all the countries around the world. Our stance from the beginning, from the founders back in 1986 and then again in 1994 with the principles, is to try to take good, sound ideas which have a moral content about running a good system for people and put them out in the public domain. And anybody can pick them up. And so we stand ready to work with, to talk with anybody. There was an issue a number of years ago about tobacco companies. Some people said, tobacco companies, their product, nicotine cigarettes, really is bad for people, and it is. And so what are you, in the Caux Round Table, you speak about ethics and morals. What are you going to do about these people? Would you let them join? And our then chairman, Win Wallen, basically, I think, working off kind of religious inspiration, said, you should always be open to everybody, whether they're a saint or a sinner. There's a possibility, if you will, of redemption for all souls. There's a possibility of these companies changing their product or changing their advertising or that. Why should we foreclose the opportunity of people becoming better? We can think about the possibilities of this. But the Caux Round Table, we want to be open to everybody, right, left, center, up and down, right? In the United States, as you may know, just a few days ago, we had what we call a midterm election. It was an election for the House of Representatives in our Congress, the Senate in our Congress, and local offices, governors, state legislatures, mayors, things like that. And what seems to have happened is that Americans have deepened their divisions. And this, I think, should be worrisome to us Americans and to other people, because as the Bible said and as Lincoln quoted before our Civil War, in which I think some 600,000 people died one way or another, a house divided cannot stand. And what do you do about deep divisions? What I think happened in some of our elections this year, of course, we shouldn't prejudge because we'll have another big election in 2 more years and the results may be different. But as of now, it seems that these cultural visions, we call them the red and the blue, or the right and the left, or the Democrats or the Republicans, are now becoming rooted in geographical territories. And if you live in a territory that doesn't reflect your values, your pressure is to move out, to go with people who are more like you. The word that we have been hearing about ourselves the last year is tribal. We're becoming into tribes in a very negative sense. The old idea that tribes don't like other tribes. People in tribes are predisposed to be suspicious of, to reject, to hate, to go to war with somebody in another tribe. And we really haven't had this in our country since the Civil War, where the 2 tribes were the North and the South, and they were divided over slavery. Well, what to do about polarization and division? And I've had several conversations the last day or so. People ask me that, people from the right and from the left. They're now, everybody seems to be, or most of it, a little bit worried. If the divisions are too deep, and nobody seems to be able to know how to bridge them or solve them or have them attenuate or build respect or communication, that's bad news for any participatory system. My reaction has been that the effort of the Caux Round Table to find principles at a higher level of abstraction, if you will, about the common good, principles which rest in what I believe is an innate human sense, which we call the moral sense, which a lot of our intellectuals and faculty people and scientists don't talk about so much anymore. It was a big deal for Confucius, for Aristotle, Adam Smith's first book, things like that, is that we as human beings have a moral sense to engage with other people in moral and ethical relationships. It's in our brains, the prefrontal cortex. But I think our work at the Caux Round Table may be more important here in America, perhaps elsewhere in the world. As people polarize and divide, they need to have some sense of ethical principles, standards of belief and contact which are respectful of other people and permit us to engage with each other constructively.